Hello everyone, and welcome back to College Dunia Study Abroad. Today we have one of the students from DePaul University who will be joining us for this session. DePaul University has over 6,000 master's enrollments across their different courses, and out of the 6,000 plus students, almost 1,100 are from international destinations, and 700 out of these are from India, and you could be one of them. If you plan to study abroad in any of the destinations, head to the first link in our bio and fill in your basic details. One of our expert counselors will reach out to you within 24 hours. We also have some very interesting offerings, one of them being visa fee scholarship. In this scholarship, you would be eligible to get your visa service fee completely sponsored by College Dunia. There are also some other interesting offerings too, like visa guarantee package and offer letter guarantee package. Don't forget to check them out. Now, let's move ahead.
Just give a brief introduction. I saw you joined in fall 2022, correct?
Yes. So I am basically pursuing Masters in Business Analytics from DePaul University, and this is my summer quarter going on. And along with that, I am also currently doing my internship with Emory Gold, and I am also a graduate research assistant in my university, currently doing an ongoing project. Hope that research work publishes soon. So yes, that's a brief about what I am doing right now.
Yeah. Perfect. So pretty interesting that you mentioned your research project, and it's going on now, and I'm assuming it is in the field of your study. Is my assumption correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So walk me through, what's the project? What is it? If it's not confidential, obviously.
Oh, no, I can. So basically, there is an examination pattern for medical science in US as well. So it is basically the MCAT examination. And so they have a similar pattern line like we have in India, where this is 3-hour paper that decides whether a student is qualified enough to get into the university they wanted or something like that. So what we are basically doing, we are having a longitudinal data, that is a data running from past few years. And now we are analyzing those data, sorting it, and giving a final report on basis of those 3 hours doesn't impact the student's performance in the MCAT examination. So basically we have our sponsors who wanted us to give this report that these factors are not contributing an individual's growth in medical science. So we just wanted to make it more diverse so that more people can, come up for medical exams, and we have some other patterns as well. So yeah, DePaul University is taking this initiative along with I think 3 more universities. So yeah, we are just looking forward for it.
Perfect. So I sense that it's a team of interns or graduate research assistants. You're just doing this alone?
No. So we are a team of 3. I am the only graduate assistant, research assistant, and 2 other is the director of the university and the dean of the university. So this is our team.
I was very curious when you mentioned that, and I sense somewhere that you are doing some bit of statistical modeling, data structuring, and, and that is the field of study you are in. So
yes,
what you went through as a course material in your first part and then doing this internship, did you see that any theoretical knowledge? Or I know in, a lot of US schools, we do case studies. The approach is very different. It's not like India, where a lecturer is going to come and, give the lecture, and then, people are just going to make notes and give exams. It doesn't like it. So how did the coursework feel? That's my first question. And did you sense some synergies coming in your actual research project from the course material?
Actually, what happens is I'm pretty much very impressed with the structured DePaul courses formulated. We have those. So yeah, you were right. We have case studies, scenarios. So everything, even the coding part that we do, it's not write a program to input 2 numbers. It's not like that. Back in India, we used to do like this. But here, it's not like that. They will entirely give you a scenario. Basically, you are doing a case study analysis for an industry, and you are a data analyst working in that industry, and then you need to formulate statistical data for this industry. So it's like a real case scenario in which You will be that part, and you have to imagine yourself doing that part. So it gives you a sense of, you are doing something relevant. That is what you'll be working on in your future. So it kind of prepares you well. It doesn't give you only the theoretical knowledge, but it prepares you well for the thing you are signing up to for. You know exactly this is the work you'll be doing once you graduate from the university, and this is exactly what you will be doing, like for your rest of like your career path that you have chosen for yourself. So that, I think that is amazing, because even what if, like, I know, like, from the place I come, many a student don't know what they are doing. They just sign up for the thing because, oh, this is, like latest something trending or something going on.
Correct.
So people just sign it for it. And they exactly don't know what's into that course or what's exactly in the curriculum. So now these type of course structure helps you exactly finding your place in the, in the niche, what you'll be doing. And if the student thinks, oh no, I can't do it for like rest of my life, she can, for the next quarter, just change their majors, just change like whatever they are doing. I'm not like, this thing is not working for me. Like, I can just go into some other branch or some other thing and I can explore that. So this, this independence of choosing what you want to do with the practical example, I think that this is the wonderful approach I felt personally, which is remarkable, So,
correct. Yeah. And I really, like the word you used. It is remarkable because somewhere, when I went to study back in 16, doing my MBA, this was, and I was fortunate enough to be in such a school where the structure was very similar, not in US, in some other country, but very similar. And yes, it really helps. It really helps when we see that, we could, based on our practical experience, it could be a research project, it could be an internship, whatever it is, you could end up, pivoting, or to use a simplistic word, just changing what kind of majors you want to choose in the next term, what kind of study material you want to, essentially read through or, do case studies, which helps you choose a path for your future. So great. And I love it, how you said it. It is remarkable. And picking up something from what you said earlier, that how we study in India and how we study in US and probably some other developed countries, different. And you mentioned also that people pick up on fads, they pick up on the trending stuff. So when back in 2022 or maybe, late 2021, whenever you were making the decision to essentially go and study in US, did you feel that you were pressurized in some sort of fad, or you just picked up something which was trending, or was it something you had thought about from a long time?
That's a very good question you asked, because I wanted to put it like in these words, like, back in India, we have this, the way we analyze things while signing up for it is very different when we actually face it in US, I'll tell you a small example. When I was signing up for, I want to do something that is more into business and analytics, I was very clear in my mind, because I had a previous experience of work as well. So for me, I was somewhere very clear in my mind what I wanted to do. But while, every student who comes to US, for them, it's a big investment, right? So you just don't want to go without having a proper knowledge about it. So what I remember is we basically attend conferences, we basically attend, like, we see videos and things like that. So from there, we analyze it that, oh, this is the trending course, she got placed in Google, Microsoft, or something like that. This is what we should be doing. Despite the fact, what is the course structure, what all subjects we'll be studying, and like how we're going to proceed it, how things will turn out to be, nothing. The things we see is, oh, is it a top university? Is it a university? Okay, will we get placed into Google, Microsoft, or something like that? That is the only parameter we see. We'll be getting high pay, we'll be getting this luxury lifestyle and following some XYZ on Instagram or some sort of things like that. So I think we are back in India, we are living in a very superficial world, and which is very different from the reality. And one thing I just wanted to tell every student, every aspirant who is trying to come to US, take your own path. Just don't be motivated with some highlights or storylines that are being trending. Do not do that course which you feel is trending and will land up to a job, but despite do a course that you like doing. Go into the field that interests you, because trust me, people over here are very smart. They have a very significant knowledge about the stuff they are doing. They are not fools. They know, and firstly, their mindset, they will value skills over marks. They will value skills over anything else. No matter how smart, how quickly you did how good you are with mugging up things, doesn't work here. Leave that mindset back in India. When you are coming to US, you should have a straight, clear mindset that what you want to do, and are you able to do that with like changing technologies, changing trend, because now like everything around you keeps on changing. Nothing is stagnant. The course that we are studying, you don't know that will it be relevant for next 5 to 6 years. Like if you're going for the technical roles, like something like data analytics, software engineer, something like that. It just keeps on changing. So you can't just come here on the basis of you will land up to a good job. Come here if you really want to do that course. That's my number one suggestion. And secondly, we have a myth of, going to a top university. Oh, it should be that university. What I personally feel, this should be number one thing in everyone's mind. This is not India. In India, we might have this myth of going to IITs, going to IIMs. This is US. It doesn't matter which university you are in. Until and unless you are talented enough, you are capable enough, you will land up in any company. Trust me when I say this. It's entirely on your skills when you are out from India. So when you are coming to other nations, just leave your mindset there, because in new nation, you need to have a new mindset, and that should be entirely different.
Perfect. This is very interesting, and I can relate to so much of it myself, because I moved to Hong Kong 3-4 years back, and yeah, that was a cultural shock for me, and it was mostly work experience, not for study, but the fundamentals of mobility remains the same. That when you move to a new place, you start accepting the new culture, you start knowing the new culture, and till the point you don't know it, you'll not accept it for sure. So you raise a brilliant point, Madhvi, and I'm honestly, very happy that this came up in this conversation, because somewhere towards the end of the, this talk, I just wanted to talk about these two things, but let's delve into it right now. There are two things which you mentioned. One, skills over marks. Very interesting concept that is right now being accepted by almost every nation. We see this changing, somewhere slowly, somewhere it's fast, somewhere things are both skills and marks, somewhere it is only skills. We see different types of acceptance of this concept. So before that, I will come to this. First, I want to complete something which you said also, connected with me, and I struck a chord, is that when you are choosing a university, when you're choosing a course, instead of just going through fads or trends or, top universities, QS ranking, all this, what's the better word to say it? Hysteria that is being created, right? About this. It is exciting. For sure it is exciting. But somewhere you lose the real aim, you lose the real goal. Tell me, what did you do differently? And probably something which you didn't do differently, but now in retrospective, you think that you could have done differently. I think that would be a great advice for, some of the people who are planning to study abroad, and not just in US, but anywhere, because these concepts are just related to choosing the right university. Does the ranking matter? It doesn't matter. Will I get a job? All these hysterical questions coming. So go on, tell me.
First things first, ranking has nothing to do with landing to a good job. That's a stereotypic belief. We don't have campus placements in US. You need to go out first searching your job on your skills. That's it. So college doesn't matter until and unless it's like, it matters when it's an Ivy college, like which have 1 CR or 2 CR fees. If you are ready to pay that much fees, you're most welcome to in going into that zone. But that also doesn't guarantee you landing up to a dream job, firstly. Secondly, all universities are near about same. It depends, again, I'll say this point, it depends from individual to individual, because towards the end of the day, you have to go look out for a job. You have to fill all the positions where all vacancies are coming. Nobody's going to help you. No campus placement, nothing. Just leave this myth. Back in India, nothing happens here. You are on your own. University, what I would personally suggest, look for a budget-friendly university that supports your pocket, because US is actually the conversion rates and the PPP, things like that. It's very costly when it compares to back in India. So education here is already costly. So my very basic advice is go for universities which are economical. Go for universities where you can, save money, because towards the end, all jobs you have to find on your own. You need to go to each office. For job search, you have to be on your own. Like, nobody's going to help you. Second, I would say, instead of wasting your time searching for what QS ranking, what top university, search for the courses that you are interested in, and search for the places where you can actually get this course from which university, which university offers you what course, how many credit hours are there in the course. Instead of search for the facts, search for the course structure, what all subjects you have in that university and stuff like that. Because trust me, investing on your subjects and curriculum is more important than investing in a university. So what I personally say is, see the course structure, see all things. Okay, how many credit hours is that subject for? That is the most important thing, and many of us doesn't do that prior coming to India, from India. Secondly, search what all options, is it STEM designated or not? Because I see many students join for a course which is not STEM designated, and when they come here and they are like, what is this STEM designated courses? A similar course structure which was already in STEM could be offered, but despite the fact they have invested in, we have to go in top university, they just left out on such important points, So I think, and secondly, peer pressure. You should never be under peer pressure. Oh, my friend got into top university, I should also get to that one. For what? For what? It's your, what's your ultimate goal is? If your ultimate goal is to, decorate your LinkedIn profile with a fancy college name, if that's your goal, go ahead with the fancy college. But if your goal is to land up to a good job, to upgrade your skills, then go for the course structure that the university offers, because I personally feel that it is the most important thing that will reflect in when you talk to some other person, he or she will, within 5 minutes, they'll know what you are capable of. So, they doesn't care you are from which university, but when the way you talk, the way you answer their queries, that is all matters to them. So and thirdly, most important thing is, while selecting a university, see the accessibility of, what I will personally suggest, your university should be in such a place that it do have some of the major companies nearby, so that you can, for your internship, you just don't need, people don't really realize this fact that if your internship is in another town, then you need to relocate. And being somebody new from India, it becomes very difficult to relocate to a new state and then finding an internship. Especially if it is a student town or stuff like that, it becomes very difficult to relocate. So then for 2 months, you need to relocate and then to come back to the university. So I think your university should be in such a place where you have offices nearby, so that it's not a big hassle for you to relocate or stuff like that. So I think these all factors are much more important than going for big brands. So yeah.
Great points, Madhvi, and very helpful information. So just for people who will be watching this videos, we mentioned STEM. So I'd just like to elaborate for everybody's ease. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and management. Mathematics. That is STEM is. And we are in India foreign to this concept, but in most of the developed nations, this is how the course structure, the curriculum, and academia is managed. So yes, STEM, great point. And if my knowledge is correct, in STEM, if you do a STEM designated course in US, you are eligible for OPT, which is essentially an extension of visa. And we can probably, talk about it in later if this is relevant for our viewers. But right now, you also mentioned something in the end, is student town. So I think that's a very foreign concept for people in India. What's a student town? What is it? So
Okay.
help us, understand what's a student town.
So basically in US, there is a concept that there will be a town in nowhere. Like it's basically a campus, a student campus, like a university. And around the university will be like a town built around the university just for the university, basically. And so these towns can be like in away from cities, away from major cities and college companies.
Yeah.
So although these towns are very like they have their own advantages, like the housing and stuff like that are very cheap and easily affordable, but then it comes with the price that job hunting, you need to relocate. You can't just search for a job in that student town, or for internship you need to relocate. So it has its own perks and benefit, but at the same time it has its own flaws that you definitely, when you are coming to a student town, you should be 100% prepared at the back of your mind that you need to relocate within like the course duration, or maybe after the course duration you have to, because there is no job in the student town. And then secondly, so there are many student towns which are near big cities. So those student towns are like much better than the ones who are deserted, because then you have the opportunities. Because another thing, in US there is one concept like when you search for internships, this is applicable for internships. So people do give preference to in-state people. Like if you are, suppose you are from Illinois, so if there is a vacancy in Illinois and a person from New York applying to that position, and on the same page a person in Illinois applying for that same position, the person from Illinois will be get preferred for that position. So that is why it plays a very important role, that which state do you live in, if that state have companies or not, because it plays a major role in your internships.
Great point.
Job as well.
Yeah, you raise very valid points again, Madhvi, and thanks for laying out both the pros and cons, because it's going to help people to actually think. So now we heard you also saying, and in my experience that's also true in the most parts, where we see that there's a lot of research around course and maybe around universities, maybe around post-job opportunities, the smaller things which seem small from outside, but when you come here, like the right state, are the right companies there in the state, right? Then student towns, how far is it from the main city, living expenses, accommodation, public transport from student town to the nearest city. A lot of points. So did you do this research all by yourself, or did you use some help?
Honestly speaking, the points that I'm telling you now are those points which I eventually realized while coming to US. Like those factors were important. But thankfully, I had enough guidance from my friends who were already in US. They which actually helped me in selecting DePaul over like other universities. I remember I had acceptance from Northeastern, Sunny Buffalo, and colleges which were from QS ranking, which were higher in QS ranking. But the reason for not joining it was basically, firstly, I was getting scholarship, and secondly, it was because for the same course, for the credit hours, I compared the credit hours for the same course, and these other universities were charging just double the amount than the university I'm in. So I didn't, and like I talked to people, I talked to my friends and stuff like that, and they were like, universities really don't matter in US. Go to the one which is like more affordable one. So that was the basic advice, and thankfully I just took that advice, and I'm like pretty happy with what I took. So yeah,
great.
It worked for me. Yeah.
Perfect. So think of it retrospectively now when you know a lot, right? Because you've experienced it firsthand, you had friends who helped you do this. Great, but we all know that, everybody doesn't get a similar support system. Some people may have that friend, some people may know people in US, some people may not. So what do you think? And this is a very open-ended question. So if there were a structured, I would say, solution, and it could be, any company offering it, it could be, a website, it could be an app, it could be anything, but a structured way of presenting all the information where you can, go and search whatever you want. It also nudges you to search the right things. For example, like I may not know, does it matter that student town is near the large major city or not? I may not know because I'm not used to this concept, but I need to know this if I want to be on the right path in US, right? So if there was a solution which presented all of this in any mode of communication, written, oral, whatever feels sensible in your own language, linguistically diversified, what would you think about it?
I think the key for all these things are networking. Firstly, you should be very clear with what all course you want to go. Then you should just make a list of universities offering those courses. And thirdly, you should firstly see the acceptance rate of visa for those universities. That is the most important thing, which students don't do. So I think if we have pretty much visa acceptance for that university, you are good to go. You can just look forward for the universities. And I wouldn't say just look for, any university, because there are many universities which are, not getting good visa acceptance. So visa acceptance is one thing we should definitely keep in mind, that is this university getting visa acceptance or not. Secondly, and for that, we have Telegram groups. You can just go to them and you can just look to them that which university students are getting visa accepted, and if your university, targeted university people are getting accepted, go and contact to them and just ask them, like just reach out to them, just network. Go to LinkedIn, the university you are looking for, just search for that university, just search for the people, approach them, message them, and try to connect to them, ask them the procedure, ask them how it is to live in that, to study in that university. Just communicate. I think communication is the key, and nobody else can give you the better picture than the students, than the ones who are already studying or have studied from that university, because they will know consultants, nobody else, no like third party or any other source will have exact knowledge than the student. If you are aiming for a university, go reach out to the person, search for it, spend your time, because you are spending a big amount of money coming to US and studying. So you need to have a very clear picture that you need to search what you are studying for. So you need to reach out to people, you need to communicate to them, you need to ask them like how it is, like what all courses you need, what all structure you need, like everything should be like, they should be your go-to person. And if one person is not answering, reach out to 10 different people, like reach out to the WhatsApp group of that university. Every university have a WhatsApp group, and and for Indian diaspora especially, people do make a WhatsApp group for Indian communities. So go reach out to that, ask students or ask anyone else. Like if you have if you are searching for a university, go to the university page, you'll be seeing the professors and list of that. Try to email the professor. Like if you see any professor whom you can think you can reach out to, like you can just email them and ask for help, seek for help. So these are the way. Like I would never suggest go on some XYZ page and search for top 10 ranking in US, top 10 colleges. That is the major mistake that we do. We go to the Google and we searched QS ranking, Forbes ranking, whatever that is. One should never do that. Instead, whatever you think, this is my course, this is a university, I can see. Like if, suppose for example, if I search a master's in business analytics university in US, and then I get the list of those universities. I shortlisted at least 7 universities, 3 from like each category, like not the top, bottom, nothing like that. I randomly selected 7 universities for like 1 week. I'm going to analyze these 7 universities for 1 week. I reach out to different people from those universities. I talk to them. I try to connect to them. I try to connect to their WhatsApp page. And once I connect to their WhatsApp page, I can just, shoot a mail, like shoot a message like, hey, I am so and so, and I'm like coming for fall so and so, and I really wanted to know about the course structure and like how the life in this university is. I'm really very curious. It would be great help if somebody could just tell me a stuff like that. So people do come and help you when you ask for it, like I did it myself. People reached out to me on LinkedIn. I messaged them, oh, you can go for it, go for this course. I gave them the link to our WhatsApp page. So people do help. I know, like, people do help if you ask for it. But if you're gonna go for an easy way, go for some, like, we have consultancies, like lots and lots of consultancy. If you want to go that way, go. That's your wish. But then towards the end, the thing that I am telling you will be 100 times more beneficial than the things that consultants do, because they are just doing their job. They're not studying. They are not here. We are here. So we can give you the exact picture of what is happening in US. So like, this is my take for this.
Yeah, very, very valid points, Madhvi. And I'm not, the right person to comment on consultants or anyone. But what I sense, and, I think is a very, very valid point, is someone who has actually experienced this firsthand. And I know now that there are companies, which offer these mentorship opportunities, which help you connect with the students who are actually doing those courses, who are actually, there or have passed out, have gotten research opportunities, have gotten jobs, right? So there are companies which help them connect with each other. And I think that's one of the points you raised. So it works, and it's a great point, especially for the people who don't really, know where to start, how to start. These are the initial thoughts that, oh, I want to go study abroad, but where should I start? How should I start, right? So these are those initial questions. So great point. And Google searches, these lists, top 10 universities, top 10 courses, right? I personally feel, yes, they could be a good place to get a framework somewhere, but not more than that. So great point, Madhvi. Again, so now let's delve into, one of the things we left earlier, skill versus marks. Skill today is being given importance. People are realizing it, but it is different for different cultures. Coming from where we come from, India, growing up in schooling system which focuses on getting the marks, everything is about like how many GPA you get in 10th standard, what was the percentage in your 12th standard, right? Based on some competitive exam you get into engineering college or medical, right? So it is all about marks, fulfilling. So while I keep on saying marks, but essentially it is all about fulfilling eligibility criteria. That is what, we have been, I would say, conditioned to focus on. So all eligibility criteria is definitely important. I'm sure you would agree with me. So let's talk about it. So DePaul, what were the eligibility criteria like when you researched? I heard that there is something called the credential evaluation. There is a company called WES, World Education Services. Was that required? Was that not required? So these are, some of the top questions I see or hear around me. So help us clarify some of these.
Yeah, WES is required because, so basically what happens is your undergrad or I came for grad programs. So I needed them to show like I have completed my undergrad. So WES basically evaluates my undergrad. So every country have a different marking pattern, right? Sure. So what WES does is it gives you like when you submit your transcripts, undergrad transcripts in WES. So they basically convert it to like basically a score evaluation in US patterns. So they see if you are you have that eligibility enough for this course. So basically they just check it, and this WES and evaluation like this happens for literally all the universities in US. So this so and another thing for DePaul entrance is for some courses I know there were interview rounds. People have given interviews. For some courses it's your all the scores that you submit, and that's it. They will give you like in 10-15 days, they'll give you a message if you are qualified or not for that particular program. Lately, for one more thing that I wanted to keep in mind was after the COVID, many things changed. Like I came in the time when COVID was so still a thing. So
Yeah,
now
yeah.
they have removed all the COVID norms and stuff like that. So they might just improvise with their selection procedures again. And now it will be back to the days like prior to COVID. So things will change certainly for all university. That is for sure, because officially we also like got a notice like our online courses are converted into like some of our earlier we were allowed, like after first semester we were allowed to take online courses, but now it is mandatory for us from next quarter to have in-person classes. So
Yeah.
stuff like that is happening. So yeah, you can expect a lot of change for like coming maybe from this fall quarter or for like next year. Maybe you might see a lot of changes. So
Perfect.
yeah, this will
Yeah,
happen.
and thanks for raising this point, Madhvi, again. Yes, we see a lot of universities and colleges, and not just university and colleges, everything around us trying to go back to pre-COVID
Normal.
time. Yeah, normal. Yes, what normal is very subjective, but yes, for sure. It is going back to how things used to be done. Yes, people are going to improvise because technology has influenced a lot of things. So it will not be exactly probably going back to the same things, but in some shape or form things will change, and we all have to be ready for that change. And this is one of the very interesting part about international mobility or studying abroad or moving abroad, is things keep on changing, right? So something which was valid 2 years ago maybe doesn't is right now. It may not be as is 2 years ahead, right? So it's a very dynamic piece of information cloud around us, and it can get difficult to rely on articles written 10 years ago. It can get very I would say foolhardy to rely on some information page or websites or even consultants who are still doing things as it used to be 5 years ago. But we need to keep up. It's changing every day. So thanks for bringing this up, Madhvi. I think it's going to be very helpful for people to think like this, especially for international mobility. So skill is something people say it can be gained through experience, it can be gained through practical knowledge, it can be something innate which we are born with. And right now, especially the culture where we come from, the skill was given less importance. Now it's changing. US is, as you said, very skill focused. And I also heard that universities have these career services, right, in most of the US universities. So what is career services? What does it entail? I think it will be very helpful if we can if you can shed your light on this topic from your personal experience.
Yes, we do have career fairs in which companies do come and like they tell us about the work culture and stuff like that. So yeah, every individual can, like, we have to attend those career fairs and we need to talk to the universities, basically the recruiters from the from the college, from the companies, and we communicate to them. We try to understand the work culture. Again, it's like they give us practical knowledge rather than giving theoretical knowledge. So they are more focused about, but again, I will just break the bubble that it doesn't guarantee you that they are offering you the job. Career fair is just for the companies to advertise them, to know that they are in the market, they are hiring new grads and stuff like that. What is their work culture and stuff like that. Nothing that it doesn't assure you that they will be hiring you or they are hiring right now. Yeah, some again, this is like something, again, I can say, yeah, companies do hire sometimes from the career fair, but it doesn't mean that they directly hire someone, oh, you are placed, something like that. It doesn't happen. Career fair is basically a platform where the companies come, basically advertise themselves, tell about their work culture, tell about that they are taking fresh graduates for their like company and stuff. That's it. And sometimes they take your resume, they keep your resume, and when you give it to them, like they'll be okay, we'll contact you. Companies mostly don't contact you like that, but yeah, sometimes they do contact you, and people do get placed from career fair, but those numbers are like very few, very few. So it's not a platform for you to get a guaranteed job, but rather it's a platform for you to network, basically, for communicate. That's it. So it's basically in US. When you are in US, I think networking is the key that I'll suggest. You should network with people, and career fair basically gives you the platform to network to those industries. That's it. Nothing more than that.
Great. I think you mentioned again something about networking, how it is important, and how networking could help you just not land jobs or opportunities, but also just get immersed in the community around yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think where I need you to shed some light on is initiative, right? I think what I sense from last 30-40 minutes of our conversation, that something which I see right now in your communication and everything is a lot about initiative, right? Even networking starts with initiative. You have to initiate, right? So do you think initiative is one of the top skills, maybe not the top, but one of the top skills that we need to develop?
Yes, definitely. More than initiative, I would say you need to step out of your comfort zone. You can't be that person, no, I'm introvert, I can't just initiate anything. I can't just, if you don't understand something, go ask for it. If you are not understanding the pattern, the things are working, go ask for it. People over here, like every universities have advisors assigned to you. Like for DePaul, we have an advisor assigned to us. We have a ISS advisor assigned to us. Like for each course, we have individual advisors. If you are not understanding which course to take, go ask your advisor. Basically, they are your career counselors. They advise you, okay, you can go for this course, you can select that course. If you are not understanding, like you are not getting an internship, stuff like that, go ask your advisor for it. If you want to like network, go on LinkedIn, ask out people, recruiters and stuff like that. Go to your career fairs, communicate to people, communicate to the recruiters. When they are advertising about the companies, go advertise about yourself, like how talented you are in front of the companies. Like maybe they just forget about you, but there are chances they might just remember how influential you are, how how remarkable or how much you leave your imprints in their minds. So this is important, and networking is like very important for, like, if you are coming here on your own, you are building your niche on your own. So while building it, you have to be that person who takes the first step always. So you're going to, and this will not only help you land up to a good job, but like for everything, for your studies, for the course you are taking, for your mental peace, because you need people to talk to when you are abroad, right? You can't be to yourself and say, I'm okay, I'm like this only. You can't be that person. So I think it's very important to take initiative and be the alpha of everything in your life.
Great. Love this. This is absolutely what something I can relate with as a person who has moved to 3 different nations in my lifetime, and stayed there, worked there, studied there. So perfect. So initiative, yes, a top skill. What do you think? In my view, initiative requires a lot of courage, right? It requires, I think, something you mentioned again just a few minutes back. You need to step out of your comfort zone, right? In India, we're used to be given everything on the platter. We're used to spoon feeding. That do 10th, then take non-medical or medical, take commerce, go do arts, right? Then do entrance exams. So they build a framework. They try to serve you in things on platter. Even I've seen in some of the domestic Indian universities, we are like, oh, this is the lecture. You just attend the lecture, read the notes, give the exams, you get the marks, done, right? So that is how the upbringing of our mind is here. It's not like the upbringing of how or what we are. It is more about how our mind is conditioned. So did it take you a lot of courage to change that, going from India to US, or do you think it develops over time? What's your take?
I think for me, it was not that difficult because I was always that extrovert person who loves speaking, who loves to communicate. So for me, it was not that difficult. But yeah, I have seen people around me, for them, it takes a lot of courage to step out of their comfort zone. But I would also like to mention one point that the moment you step out of your country, it's itself the moment when you are stepping out of your comfort zone. It's
Yeah.
always that one step initiative you have taken, stepping out, doing something courageous. So
Yeah.
that's always, you already have a lead, and now you just need to follow that lead, and you just need to be like, oh, you are on your own. Always remember one thing: you are just responsible for yourself right now, and every action you take is responsible for you in future 10 years or 20 years, maybe, like that. So like, everything you do for yourself should be impacting you only, and when the impact and fruits are for yourself, you are very cautious
Yeah.
about things. Yeah. So
Perfect. This is great. So let's move a little bit ahead in the study abroad process. Let's call study abroad process for the ease of it. So we apply, we choose the university, we shortlist, then we find the right course, and like you suggested, sometimes it's best to do the opposite. You find the right course, find the right university, from there, and then application process, which may involve application fees, to interviews, to credential evaluations, and it could vary depending upon what field you are in. So moving on to the next part, and somewhere I heard you mentioned that you get a decision from the university in 2 weeks, 10-15 days, and DePaul, I think you mentioned you got it somewhere in 2 to 3 weeks, correct?
I think a month. It takes
Great.
a month, like, yeah.
Great. So for you it took a month, and I'm sure I've also heard somewhere when through my networks that yes, it usually takes around 4 weeks that we
4
get
weeks, yeah.
Perfect. So now the next part obviously comes to visa application. Once you have the offer, once you have the decision, you choose, you pay the deposit, which is all standard. There is this again a hysteria around US visa interviews, right? And I'm sure you must have heard of it, that people come in and they're not even allowed to sit. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I've heard, that you just sit and they tell you are rejected, right? I'm sure it is not as dramatic as I'm making it sound, or maybe it is. Like I said, I don't know. But what was your experience? The F1 visa?
I think that's not just a saying. It does happen. It does happen with US visas. Like lately, because of the backlogs that was happening because of the COVID. Again, earlier it was not this like strict, but now because of COVID and they have this restriction of passing over only certain amount of visa, they have these numbers right in front of them. So like, once they attain these numbers, they are like maybe rejecting everyone. So honestly speaking, for that point, it doesn't matter which university you are going for. It's their stats, their numbers. So we can't be assuming like stuff like that. This do happen that they do reject people. I have seen people getting rejected, but then like, again, I would say like, go confidently, go whenever it's your visa interview time, be confident, be bold, and whatever you are telling them, it should be like, they should not think like they have some 2-1, I just don't remember. It's like shows you have not some kind of ties with your country, something like that.
Yeah.
That is the most
Yeah.
So that is the most common reason they gave you, because that is the only reason you can't ask explanation for. They can just be like, oh, I didn't find enough ties with your own country, so I'm just rejecting. So that is a flaw in the system, but it is again because of the COVID, because they have a backlog of like n number of visas and they can just pass some amount for like a year. So like, yeah, visa process right now, I know it's tough. I know people are frustrated, they are not getting slots and stuff like that. But honestly speaking, if you want to go for like, doesn't matter, go for a university you like, go for but while going for the visa interview, you just need to be confident and you just need to show them like, you are just going for studies, that's it. And you will come back. that is a must. You need to prove that you will be coming back. And in the case where you are not even asked a question and being rejected, yeah, that does happens. But again, I would say, don't lose hope. Take another slot, book another like interview and just come. it doesn't matter,
Perfect. Perfect. I love the optimism, and I love this optimism that yes, if you don't get it right the first go, we try again.
Yeah.
We
Try
go all
again and
guns
come.
blazing. Yeah, perfect. Madhvi, I
You
think this is
won't you won't be
yeah, yeah,
getting
good.
2 bad lucks at a time. So if you got one bad example who rejected you on face, you definitely second one will not be the same. So you'll be getting
Uh,
another one. So yeah, and
Correct.
people are nice. They also want you to come because you are investing in their country. So they want you to come. So yeah.
Correct. Great. Madhvi, this has been amazing. I've enjoyed this thoroughly. And I hope, we have been able to pass on some information to the people who will listen to this or probably, get to hear about this. That yes, there's so much. I could talk to you for hours and hours, and picking up each topic, going deep into it. But it has been really fun, and I think we have been able to, get a very summarized version of some of the thoughts out. And I would really like to thank you for being with me today and
Thank you so much.
being very open and I would say open for sure, but I think you were very forthright, which is what something I loved, right? Like no nonsense, what it is, right? And that's what people need to know because it is a big decision moving outside, international mobility, studying abroad. So thanks for being so forthright and anything if you want to say before we end this call.
I just wish it serves its purpose and people do get the right knowledge or approach for coming. Like the mistakes that we have made, nobody else is make that because we are a community over here. Like we are in minority and we should support one another. And if I can help any of them, it would be like a great privilege for me because we should help, and that is like we expect people to help us, and we can only expect that when we ourselves are doing that. So that's a great privilege from my part for helping those students who really want to come abroad and wanting a vision for it. So I just hope it helps. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Thanks. And you I mentioned something in the end, which again I feel is very relevant. What energies you put in the world, that is the energy you get back.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
let's end this with this thought. Thank you for your time. Wish
Thank
you
you for
all
having
the wish you all the best, Madhvi. And I wish
you so
your
much.
project goes through. You get the report, and I hope to see some of that analysis someday. I find it really interesting
Yeah,
that
sure.
does that 3 hours judge the people, right?
Yeah, sure,
Great.
definitely. I hope
Thank
it
you.
works. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye, guys.
So that was everything about DePaul University. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel. Please share this video with your friends, family, or anyone who you know would like to go and study abroad. See you next time.